What's up, everybody? Welcome to the PHDJ podcast. My name is Mike.
Yes, indeed. I'm Joe Bunn. Don't care what KC says.
Nah, let's get past that. We got bogged down the last couple of weeks. It doesn't matter. We start the way we start. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, brother. It's good to see you. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. Kids are officially back in school. Davis has been scootering to school because it's not far from the house. Had a nasty
electric scooter.
No, he's kick push.
Nice,
Yeah.
Very cool. They started this thing in Asbury. You can similar to the bike stuff and some of these. They have these electric scooters that you can rent for like $1.50 a minute or something.
They came through Raleigh, and it didn't last long. I wouldn't.
Oh no!
I wouldn't rest your laurels on it, Mike.
No. Well, I'm not an early investor, so I'm not.
All right. Good. Don't put money into it. Enjoy them while they're there. They will not be there long.
So is it an injury thing?
I think it's an injury thing. I think it's a leaving them on the sidewalk thing, and I think at the end of the day, the city of Raleigh basically taxed them so heavy that they all pulled out.
That's a shame.
Anyway.
So listen, I've got a main topic to get to. But I think first and foremost, we should start a little somberly. It was not a great week for rock stars, right? We had Eddie Money on Friday, and then Rick Ocasek of the Cars on Sunday. Did you have any events this weekend?
I did. I sure did. I had I was back in the game for the
Rick
first.
Ocasek news didn't really matter because that didn't hit till Sunday night. But did you do any Eddie Money over the weekend?
No, other than in my car, I did not. They had a pretty specific playlist, Mike, and I didn't feel like I had my finger on the pulse to where I could pull out anything. You know what I'm talking about? Like that kind of crowd.
I definitely do. And I had 2 weddings this weekend, and I kind of had the similar thing. Both of them had huge playlists. So, on Friday when I heard the news, I put Take Me Home Tonight into both of their playlists, but I knew that wasn't their request. It was mine. So, and I just there was never a perfect time to get to it.
Sure.
So, I mean, this isn't, Aretha Franklin or Prince or Michael Jackson where it's really going to affect our playlists.
Sure.
But I think it's a sad acknowledgement that this rock star generation continues to age, obviously, and we're going to lose more and more as they approach their mid-70s, 80, that type of thing. And besides just being aware of it, I think it's just a great reminder that if you have a favorite of these bands and they come through your town, you should try to go see them.
Oh, man, hell yeah.
You never know. You know what I mean?
I kind of forget, though, like if you go on Spotify right now, I mean, Eddie Money had some jams, like, especially if you're my age, your age, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, Take Me Home Tonight is obviously the one that
I think that's his most recognized. I think it was his biggest chart hit, but I also just think it's his most recognizable sing-along.
Yes.
2 Tickets to Paradise was
I love that song. Shaking.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And then, baby, hold on to me.
Yeah.
That was a jam.
So, he definitely did. So what did you do? When you heard the news, you hopped on Spotify?
Absolutely. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I kind of was like shortchanging him. And then Randy was in the car. I think we were going to lunch, and he was like, man, don't shit on Eddie Money like that. And so,
well, especially the day he dies. I mean,
I don't think it was. Maybe it was the day he died. I don't. Yeah. Anyway, I was like, I just can't think of anything. And Randy starts just, of course, Mr. freaking Encyclopedia of Music over there, just starts reeling through like every song the guys had.
Right. And the Cars, to me, they were a huge band, especially their first album. And I shared a video earlier this week that I had done many years ago. So it wasn't even in response to his passing. But I really do believe that Cars, that first album, I think it was released in 77 or 78, it's a more influential album than most people give it credit for, because I think it was one of those albums that helped bridge the sound between punk rock and new wave. And the Cars were really at the forefront of that, along with you know, bands like the Talking Heads and Television and Blondie, they really kind of showed the music world how to soften up the punk edges, add a little electronica, and create a sound that became huge throughout the whole 80s. So, you know,
which record was that, Mike?
That's their first one.
Good Times for All. Yeah. My Best Friend's Girl. Oh, yeah.
And that's one of those albums to this day when I go for a run, sometimes I just play that. And I think this is a lost art, playing albums not on shuffle mode from first track to last. And that's one of those albums. I mean, I knew it so much as a kid, so it brings me back to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can listen to that whole album all the way through, and there's not a
good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
So anyway, our rest in peace to both Eddie Money and Rick Ocasek. And again, a reminder, if you got a band and they're coming through your town, man, hit them up.
Yes.
Hit them up.
I don't care how old they are, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, Prince
if
was
you love somebody,
he passed in his 50s, so you're right. But the more I mean, like the Stones, I didn't see the Stones on this last tour. I had already seen them twice. Who knows? I might never get another opportunity to see them. You never know whether one of them passes or they just disband and you know, stop touring. Who knows? Who knows? Right. So speaking of my 2 weddings, I put up a post last week as I was prepping my 2 weddings. And you know me on Facebook, Joe, and it's one of the reasons why you hate me on Facebook. There's lots
of stop it. I don't hate you on Facebook.
It's lots of times where I try to be controversial on Facebook, but there are some times when I literally just put an innocuous post up that I don't want, you know, that I didn't expect to become a thing. And that was one of these posts. I simply put up as I was prepping my weddings that I had 2 weddings last week and enough requests for 5. So that's it.
I see all your stuff.
Most people who responded to that said, I can relate, blah, blah, blah. But someone took the opportunity to poke at me, which, you know, listen, I'm not immune to that. And we have our history, so I understand why he wants to poke at me. His first reply was, so you're not a multi-op because 2 is weak sauce. I have 13 this weekend, which is light for us. And he shared a picture of our staff. What are these guys doing this weekend? Now, when I read this, I had a couple of cocktails, so my reply wasn't normal because I usually don't poke back, but I wrote 13. That's cute. We have 28. I meant me personally. So, I mean, I've kind of I should have just, you know, taken the high road. So that spurred him a little bit more. And then but see, this is the point now, besides this little feud here, which that's not for this, but he brings up a great question.
Right.
If you have 28 weddings, why are you still personally DJing? I built my multi-op so I could eventually retire, which he puts in quotes, and go into management, which I did. You shouldn't have to DJ yourself with those kind of numbers. So, Joe, I know you with the DJ's Vault have become basically a consultant, right? You spend a lot of your day on the phone with people who are trying to build their business.
Correct.
Should the ultimate goal of anyone starting a multi-op be to get to the point where you don't perform anymore? Forget about the word have to. Don't have to, but don't perform anymore. Should that be the ultimate goal?
Let me think about I mean, I've been thinking about this all night. I knew we were going to talk about this.
And Joe, so have I. I've been thinking about it since this post. Not that I lay awake at night staring at the ceiling.
Me neither. No, but
I just finished a book about Henry Ford. Henry Ford started, well, first of all, Ford Motor Company was like his 5th attempt, which there's a lesson to be learned there. He failed a couple of times at starting automobile companies. Once he got that business up and running, he didn't stay on the, he didn't stay on the front line making cars. He rose up in management and ownership and got to the point where he hired 1 million of other people, and basically had a huge effect. So am I kidding myself when I say I don't have to DJ? I love DJing. I want to stay. Am I lying to myself that I haven't been successful enough that I can just go into the office a couple days a week and not DJ and watch my guys go out on the weekends? Is that it? Does anybody start a company to make a job for themselves for the rest of their lives? Deep questions on a Wednesday morning.
I know it really is heavy, man, because it's got so many layers to it and so many levels to it. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, neither of us got into the business in the first place, or at least I didn't. Let me speak for myself. When I got into this business as a 15-year-old, 13-year-old, I guess, when my mom first started taking me to shows and stuff, number one, I didn't think it would last past college. in fact, in 1994, I told everybody. I even made a T-shirt. It said "Final Year Tour, DJ Joe Bunn." Blah blah blah. Ripped off somebody's logo. Yes, I do.
I got to add that to the DJ Vault swag.
Yeah, that's
By the way,
true.
It's looking very impressive.
Thank you, sir. I got to send you some stuff. So, long story short, in 1994, I said I was quitting. I probably said I was quitting at some point in high school. As an adult, I've probably said I was. So
now let's drill down a little bit more on that. Did you say you were quitting because you didn't like performing anymore? You didn't like DJing anymore?
Nope. I thought that I was supposed to get a quote unquote real job.
A real job. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't think this was a career. I thought
you're entrepreneurial in spirit. Your dad's a business owner. So when you say a real job, do you mean launch a different business?
No, I thought that
you saw yourself working for somebody.
I did. And I don't know what it was supposed to be in. I don't know if it was supposed to be helping him. I don't know if it was supposed to be, in real estate. I didn't know if it was supposed to be with an ad agency or a marketing agency. I just, I thought that I was at some point that this was more of a, a bridge. A bridge
to get you from and
or a young man's job.
A lot of people in this industry who that's what it is. And I mean, a lot of people who work for me, it's a bridge from here to here to work their way through college, get their regular career. And I honor that. I think it's fantastic. There's nothing wrong with that. But then there are career guys like you and I. And so eventually you realized that you weren't going to do anything else more successful than DJing.
I realized that in all the other things that I took on, whether it was managing bands or trying to sell something I didn't believe in, or hats and t-shirt company, or, all these other side ventures that failed, I just realized that unless it directly related to DJing, it was a true spinoff of DJing. And again, I'm including like upsells and the vault or whatever, that it just didn't work. And to stick to what so like finally I gave in. I'm like, this is why I'm here. This is like my purpose. Like this has to be what I'm supposed to do.
Now with the success of the vault, and I know you've mentioned a few times how Randy is running more of the Bunn DJ Co. Have you cut back your performing?
No. No.
Will you do the same amount of jobs or generally this year? 19 and looking forward to 20, have you blocked off more dates than usual or are you still okay?
No.
And so what does that calendar look like for you?
Oh, I would do about 35 to 40 weddings and then another 30, 40 just random gyms.
So our schedule is similar. I probably do. I'm going to wind up doing 65 this year.
65 weddings?
More weddings than it sounds like you're 50-50. I'll probably wind up doing 50 weddings and 15 non-weddings.
Okay.
But I mean, if we're both going out 60 to 70 times personally, so our schedule's about the same. Do you see that diminishing in the next few years?
I think in my head, Mike, that I had put this number, so I'll be 48 a week from today. So the 25th. I had put this number.
Second hint, by the way. He hinted about that last week.
I repeat, September 25th. September.
Yeah.
I had put this number 50 in my head as a stop date, but this was years ago.
Right.
And I don't know that I'm going to abide by that.
Okay.
I don't. Here's what I've done.
So hold on.
I know where you're. Let me finish this thought real quick.
Okay.
So am I tailoring my schedule back? No, but I'm becoming more diva-esque. So in other words, now that Randy runs everything,
pick and choose.
All the events go to him. So if somebody specifically says, we want Joe, then he'll say, let me check and see if he's available. He texts me and goes, it's on this date, you're doing this or that the day before or day after, and it's at this venue. And
do you want?
If the venue is mentioned,
has a lot to do with it.
That's a lot to do with it. Can I take my cool stuff in? How big of a pain in the ass is it? Is it all outdoors in August? There's several factors that go through my head. And then I just say, listen, tell them I'm already booked and put one of the guys on it. And they'll do that.
So when you say 50 was the cutoff and now it might not be, is that because you financially still need to DJ, or is it because you're going to have a tough time giving up the life? You enjoy the process of DJing that much.
Whether the vault existed or not, I don't have to DJ at all. Period. Like I can run the company. I can do like I did last night.
Would your family have to tighten its belt a little bit more?
Nope.
Really? Well, good for you, because I can't say that. I mean,
No.
I don't need to DJ to keep the lights on here.
Right. Right.
But Kelly and I we would make different decisions, you know, savings wise, vacations wise, going out to, we would make different decisions. We're not by any means going to be homeless, but my DJing, the difference between my income without DJing and my income with DJing is, you know, significant. So, and again, a lot of it at 53 has to do with, I find myself kind of packing it away now for retirement.
Yeah.
And I mean, I look at my retirement nest egg and I go, this would be better, bigger. So I'm just, you know, I'm packing it away.
Fiscally and future wise, I think that you're a lot more prepared than I am, Mike. I was way late to the party. Like this is a whole nother episode, you know, in terms of 401ks or mutual funds.
Our significant. Our differences our circumstances are so different. You have raised 2 children. I haven't. So, you know, the whole DINK thing that Kelly and I, double income, no kids, it sort of makes it easier to save for retirement. Conversely, you have somebody who's going to take care of you when you're older. Kelly and I are going to need a big nest egg because, you know, we don't have children that are going to be taking care of us. So there's
I never thought about that. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we need more money packed away because, you know, any aid we need down the road, we're going to have to pay for. You know?
So let me just say this. My goal was never to build a company so big that I could get out of it and just become an agent. I still, at the end of the day, love it. Like I still, there is very, very rarely a show that I have booked, especially in this era of Bunn DJ Company, that I'm walking out the door telling Ainsley, I'm dreading this.
Right.
If I ever even get close to that point, then that's when I know 100% it is officially time to hang it up and become an owner, you know, do the networking, still let people know that we have the best DJs around, but that Joe Bunn is personally not playing. And I'm just not there yet.
And so now let's take it from that point of view. Can a manager still successfully run a multi-op if he or she does not perform anymore? If he or she has hung up the microphone, will they eventually, and I'm not talking about tomorrow or a year from now, but will they eventually lose touch with the industry? Or if they performed for a long enough time and got enough experience under their belt, can they, a decade from now, even if they haven't DJed in a year, can they still successfully run a multi-op?
My answer to that is yes, but the but is you still have to have your face out there in industry type events. So you have to do the showcases. You have to do the open house free DJing. And again, not necessarily me, but if the Merriman Wynn House right around the corner had an open house, you know, or a small wedding show, I'm going to send somebody to play music, and I'm going to be there at least for part of that show. If nothing else, just to talk to the venue owner at the very beginning and then leave and spend the rest of the Sunday with my family.
Right.
The NACE meetings, the ALIA meetings, everything else, like you still have to have your face out there, but I still think that you can book DJs under you and gain that. Now, conversely, I don't think, and again, I know I keep bringing up the vault, but I don't think that entity would have been nearly as successful if I just was an owner and I wasn't.
Yeah, you and I have talked about that, and I agree with you. I think you have industry. I don't know if it matters to the client,
right?
But within the industry, you're going to lose cred if you haven't. If there hasn't been a picture of Joe Bunn out there working of an event in years. We've talked about this with Mark Farrell. I think Mark's message is fantastic, but the number one pushback he gets, when was the last time he DJ'd? And I'm not saying that's a legitimate criticism or not, but that is, you know, it's one of the things that DJs respect or give credit about. So I would agree. And to answer the question I posed to you, I totally do. I think that it's somebody who has experience in this business can run a successful multi-op without performing. This is where Mitch Taylor, Mitch did a live at 7:55 on Monday about this, and he was very adamant that owners should continue to perform. I don't think it's that cut and dry. And you and I have talked about this recently on the podcast. Like you brought it up last week when you talked about staying up. We talked about dumb things that DJs do.
Yeah.
And you talked about not staying on top of new music. And you even said, if you can't stay on top of new music, you should get out of it. You should just run the business. So that came out of your mouth without even thinking that this topic was about to come up.
Right.
I think the bottom line is follow your passion. If you still have a passion to perform like I do, and like it sounds like you do, then follow that. What's wrong with that? But if you don't, and I don't know if this gentleman has given up his passion or whether it's just a time thing or whatever, but I would say he's made a right decision because it doesn't sound like he wants to go out there every Saturday night or most Saturday nights. So he's doing the right thing for his clients by not schlepping it out there and I gotta continue DJing when his heart isn't in it anymore. Yeah. So I think your company is better off. I think it's better off if you still love performing, that you're out there, because this way you're probably the number one referral generator for your company. Yeah. You're the face of your company. So banquet people and photographers are still seeing you. So if you still have the passion, I say keep performing. But if you don't, if you've lost that and you want to be the manager, then respect that too and go do that. Don't just do it for the money. That would be my answer.
No, I couldn't have said it better myself, Mike. It's too important of a job, especially when you're dealing with weddings, which is the majority of my business. You know, and honestly, Mike, if I sniffed out somebody out of the 12, 15 people here, or even kind of caught wind of it at any of these other franchise offices that had that kind of attitude, I would get rid of them as fast as I possibly. And I have. There have been people here that were just an absolute cancer to the organization. Whether it was I could tell at the monthly meetings that something was off. I could tell the way they were bitching leading up to a show that that they were just kind of phoning it in, and I got rid of them. They're not going to be good for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go through our notes. I don't know if we've ever tackled that topic in a podcast, and it's worth doing it because you and I agree on that. It is so much better to get rid of somebody like that than wait for the inevitable implosion, and it will happen. I ignored one a few years ago, and it imploded in my face. And when I looked back, I went, I missed four signs. Like there were 4 signs that I just missed because I believed in this kid and I thought he would turn it around. And I had a couple of conversations with him, but I didn't pull his gigs, and I should have. And I think that's a great point. Whether it's you, the owner, or anyone else on staff, once you've lost the buzz for this, it's just time to move on.
Perfect, man. Perfect.
Yeah. Good.
Anything else you want to add about that, Mike?
No, I don't think so. I think we're good.
Okay. All right, man. That was a good one. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you to our sponsors. And we will be back very shortly.
Event planner. That was the one thing that came up when I said 28. I was well, can I see your DJ event planner?
I saw it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you my login access. Yeah, that'll work. I'm gonna do that.
Oh man, trust me. Your stuff comes up very high on my feed.
Well, and listen, that goes back to the Nick Spinelli thing. It's all about, and not that Nick invented this, but it's all about traction, right? It's all and I get my 200 comment political bullshit posts that you hate. It helps me keep up on people's news feeds.
Trust me, so, it's high level on
it's
my
all
feed.
Calculated. I've got it all figured out. All right, everybody, have a great week.
All right, guys, later.
Ciao.